If you didn't watch my last Clone Wars video where I gave a little life update and plan on these Clone Wars videos moving forward, be sure to do so. Continuing on with the Clone Wars, I hopped on over to the next episode in the Ahsoka Learns Political Unrest on Mandalore arc, Season 3, Episode 11, Pursuit of Peace. The negotiations between the Separatists and the Republic are dead after the droid suicide bombing from the end of the last episode that I watched. Padme is arguing in the Senate for peace, but because of the droid suicide bombing, the vast majority of the senators want revenge. They're hungry for action. Padme, having a high-ranking Separatist friend, believes there are other actors involved who are trying to stir some shit up and disrupt the peace process. The political posturing in this arc so far has been very interesting to me. Proxy wars, bad actors, false promises, war profiteering. I really dig all this kind of stuff. It's interesting to see the majority of senators question Padme's loyalty when Padme is making extremely valid points. The red-cheeked, knee-jerk posturing of her fellow leaders cannot be tamed, and everybody starts yelling, "Whose side are you on?" It's interesting to see. Padme's Separatist friend ends up dying. Dooku says the Republic killed her. Padme knows this isn't true. And then Bail Organa says they actually have some intelligence that the Separatist senator was murdered by Dooku's thugs. Padme meets with the banking clan. She's looking for more funding for logistical supplies in the war effort, but the banking clan wants 25% interest, which is insane. This would drain the Republic's coffers. The banking clan might be the most evil organization in Star Wars that I've ever seen, because they have no loyalty, they have no belief system, they have no right or wrong. They're not fighting for a cause. There's no deep-seated reason for their actions. There's no allegiance. They are simply there to feed both sides with money and munitions, while the war rages on and they profit from the violence as they fill their pockets with dough. At least with the Galactic Empire or the Separatists, you can understand them from a philosophical point of view. I mean, from a philosophical point of view, you should be able to put your brain in someone else's shoes and kind of understand where they're coming from, right? But the banking clan is the bottom feeders of the Star Wars universe, like roaches under the dining table, just eating up the crumbs. A bunch of senators receive a bunch of threats. Someone's trying to scare them away from voting against the bill to fund the conflict and place an order for more clone troops. Bail Organa and Padme have my favorite exchange in the episode, and perhaps my favorite exchange in the entire show so far. Bail says some minds can't be altered no matter what they hear, and then Padme replies with, "From my experience, it depends a great deal on who is sending the message." This exchange is great, and extremely true, and always topical. It explains the bubble of information that so many folks live in perfectly. The bubble is full of nothing but repeated opinions, with no actual adherence to facts or reason. The bubble produces tribes, and as Bail said, no matter what people hear, no matter how overwhelming the evidence is on a certain subject, some minds will never be reasoned with. It's that tribal mentality, but Padme says it matters who says it, which is absolutely true. Even talking heads in our society hold so much power. The facts don't seem to sway a large percentage of the people, which is sad, but talking heads have so much pull on public opinion. It's crazy. But Bail Organa agrees to speak. He becomes this talking head that we're talking about. He's going to speak before the Senate because he's an old trusted friend to a lot of folks in the chamber. People trust him, and he might be able to sway some of the votes. Anyway, yeah, I like the exchange. I thought it was interesting. We then see a hologram of Dooku, and he tells his cronies that maybe it's time to take Padme out of the game, which I'm assuming is an assassination attempt. Padme gets attacked, goes on the run, steals a speeder bike, and is pursued by the assassins, but she's able to escape. The same two assassins then try to knock out Bail Organa. He survived the assault, but he's out of commission, and he's actually unable to give this speech that he planned on giving at the Senate floor. So Padme has to give the speech for him and try to convince the chamber to not vote for this bill. The speech is about the people that the war affects. She talks about funding the war instead of helping the people. She says the war is meant to save people from suffering, but it only increases the suffering. Talks about the machine, talks about how the war won't bring the system down. The system always goes down internally. It's a really good speech. And then we cut to Palpatine in his chamber in a short little great scene. He says, "Isn't it funny that one can have all the power in the galaxy, and yet the words from a single senator can sway the thoughts of millions?" And then he says, "Let democracy run its course. Let the wheels of the Senate turn." Palpatine is playing chess. He's always one step ahead. He's plotting and planning, and I'm really curious what he has planned next. I have thoroughly enjoyed this arc so far. I'm really curious what's going to happen in the next and final episode of this arc. I have an idea where it's going to go, because, I mean, maybe it's kind of predictable. It's kind of predictable in my brain, and if the films are any indication, they're kind of a giveaway, but we'll see what goes on in the next episode. HelloGreedo, out.